everybody, it's Videobob, and I'm here with a quick little review about the Dyson V10. Now this is the Dyson V10. This is my old, I can't remember exactly which one this is. Oh, it's the V6 Absolute, okay. I've had this one for a long time. I've had it for many years. I've replaced a few things on it. I replaced this filter in here. I haven't replaced the battery. I have another one that's very similar to this. I actually have a bunch of these. I have one that I keep on my tour bus. I have one at my shop. I gave one to my mom. The one at my shop, I did have to replace the battery and the charger in it. I don't think the charger was necessarily the problem. I think it was probably the battery. But I replaced the battery. It wasn't very expensive. And on this one, I had to replace this rear filter with an aftermarket one. Something else I've replaced is this goofy thing here. So one of the things that if you're familiar with the V6 and if you've owned it, and even the V8, you know, you got that top filter, which was always a pain in the ass, and you had this back filter that you know, you're supposed to rinse it out, but like this thing, you're supposed to rinse it out and let it dry overnight. And the problem is this thing clogs up a lot. Now on the V6, you know, you had the max button on the back. Now what I would find would happen a lot with this thing is the filters start to get clogged up pretty fast, and then the vacuum would go into a shutdown mode, and I'll try and demonstrate that. And I'm sure if you've owned one, you've experienced it, I'm sure, where it gets clogged, and now it's not doing it. Well, that's because I've cleaned it. Anyway, it would go into a shutdown and go, wow, wow, you know. Look at that thing, it's working. You son of a bitch. Anyway, it would go into this clogged shutdown mode on me all the time. Also, I noticed that, you know, after a few years of use, you know, this thing's starting to get kind of wore out here, this power head, some of the bristles are starting to come off, but really it's not in that bad a condition. I mean, we use it on hardwood and we use it on carpet. But, oh, you know, you've come here to watch some video about the V10, but how can you talk about the V10 without talking about one of these, okay? This is a great vacuum. It's lasted me many years, and it still works. Why did I get the V10, though? Well, number one, it's bigger. It's much bigger. I wanted to show you these two together. The power heads, and I don't think you can see on video, are basically both the same width, but you've now got much more action going on here. You've got this surrounding lip here that's a rubber or a silicone, whatever that is, that helps create a suction. You now have this little bit of a fluffy spot here. And what that is for is you're constantly banging this thing into your furniture. You have that on here too. But they've just wrapped it around a little bit more, made it a little bit bigger. Also, you've got an adjustment slider here that it adjusts these two little air inlets to, it says maximum suction or larger debris. So what this does is just opens up an air gap for you so that if you're on a really thick carpet and it's bogging down, this will allow you to get a little bit more air. But if you're vacuuming up a bunch of Cheerios or something big, this also helps get those up under there. And as far as I can tell, you know, the two of these are pretty similar, although this one is much bigger. This rotator seems to be bigger to me. But I don't know, I haven't pulled out any calipers or measured them, but you can see that the heads are much bigger. Seems to me like the roller balls are a little bit bigger too. So here's one of the things that really annoyed me about the V10 is that I have a ton of accessories for this V6. I mean, I've got, like, you can't see them over here, but I've got like every accessory there was. And I was quite disappointed to find out that every single goddamn accessory is completely incompatible. You cannot combine these. They don't work together. It doesn't it doesn't go together. You can't interchange these. They don't work. And I was pretty pissed about that because I was like, you know, I've invested in Dyson stuff and I've gotten every accessory that there is to get for this thing. And now none of them work with my new unit. However, that being said, if you order the Absolute system, which is what I got, it comes with pretty much everything anyway. So it really doesn't matter. But if you want it to be cheap and go out and get just the plain little red shorter power head one and use it with your other accessories, do not do that. Your accessories are not going to work. So if you're going to upgrade, don't be a cheap ass. Spend the extra $100, get the Absolute or the animal pet version. When I bought this just recently last week, it came, it was $100 off the normal price. And if you registered it online, buying directly from Dyson, you got several free tools for free, which I got a tool bag and another little adapter. So really, I got all the stuff I need for it. And quite frankly, I gotta admit, I got all these accessories for my V6. Quite frankly, the only thing I ever use is this. And then sometimes I use that other little brush tool. You know, I would use the hose adapter thing when I was cleaning or whatever. The only thing I wish they would add to this thing is a lock for the trigger, that you could lock it shut, so that you could set this thing down and kind of use it like a canister and use the hose to get to the place, you know, get up under your desk or whatever. I wish they would add a locking function. That's the only thing that's missing, I think. All right, let's talk about the V10. Now, the thing is most of the stuff that you've seen, you probably watched the videos on the Dyson.com and whatnot. They've explained to you how it works. One of the coolest things about how this thing works is how it empties and cleans itself. Okay, it's got a trigger finger. You know, I'm just going to assume that you already have the V6, but for the people that do not, and this is your first Dyson, I'm going to demonstrate quickly how you empty this thing. There's a button on the back that you press, and that opens up like that, and it comes out the bottom. But the problem is you get a lot of buildup around this filter here. So then if you can press this harder, the entire head comes off. Now this bucket is empty. You take that off. Set that aside. And now, you know, the design of this thing, there's no way to set it down anywhere. You have to hang it on the hook. So now you got all this crud on this little mesh filter screen and around the seal. And you have to clean that off. And what I would sometimes do is have like a little plastic fork or knife or a brush. And now I'm getting dust on my hands. I'm gonna sneeze. This is the problem. Then you gotta take this thing out. Actually, the trick is you turn it upside down. There's a ton of dust coming out of this. Look at that. Yeah. Thanks, Dyson. Assholes. All right, so great vacuum, not the greatest design for emptying the fucking thing out. I've had a bunch of these, and that's what you're dealing with. And when you got a cat, and this thing is covered in fur, give me a break. So my wife was like, why did you spend $600 on a new Dyson? We already have a Dyson. I said, but honey, V10, completely different animal. All right, first of all, look at the size of this bin versus that bin. Like, come on now. You got a third more space at least. It's way bigger. Now the way you empty it is cool, but also a pain in the ass because you have to take. It only takes a second, but you have to take the broom off, whatever you want to call that. Now you've got this laser gun. Okay. this is what sold me on this thing, okay? You got this handle back here, and you push it forward. Now, that pops this open and shoots everything down there, but here's the really important part. This metal mesh screen, right? There's a, see that red rubber thing? That cleans that off and shoots the stuff out. That alone is what makes this thing completely different animal. Because if you look at this, even, and see, that right there explains why this is all different. Pressing this button and pulling this out, it was kind of a pain in the ass. Their new system, combining the button into this thing comes out, in and out, pretty easily. Did you see how easy that come out compared to how hard I had to pull that one out? The redesign of this was necessary, so I get why they did it. But if you're looking at the old V6 here, first of all, this is harder to operate. Okay, and you see that's plastic mesh, and it gets pretty filthy. This one is metal. It's metal mesh. It's a super, super fine metal, perforated metal. This is also a pain in the ass. And if you've ever had the V6, you ever been using it and I'm like, I'm not picking up shit, and all of a sudden you realize this isn't closed and it flops open and the dirt falls on the floor. You're like, fuck! That has happened to me several times. That will never happen with this one. It's impossible because the way this thing, it has to be closed in order to have the thing on there. That'll never happen. All right, let's look at another thing. God damn, this thing has a trigger finger. Every time I touch it. Notice how much bigger the battery pack is. There are two more like whole cells in there. Much, much bigger battery pack. I think they claim this thing will run for like an hour or something on low. I remember I was doing it, I don't want to go into too much detail, but I was at an industry event for Best Buy, and Dyson was there doing demos. And I was talking to one of the women who was showing me this. I only mention that she's a woman because it's pertinent to the joke. She was an elderly woman. And she was showing me the unit, and I said, but why wouldn't I want to just use it on max? You know, she goes, well, because there's 3 levels. There's low, medium, high. And I said, I always just use it on high. And she goes, you're such a typical man. She goes, you don't need it. And you know what? She was right. I use this thing. I have black carpet in my office. Those of you who've seen my other videos have been in my office. I have black shag carpet in my office. I have a hell of a time keeping it clean. If you've ever had black carpet or black anything, flooring, you know that every single time you use it, you get dust and lint on it. So I have to clean it basically every day. Just a quick brush through, because just the tiniest little lint and leaves and dirt, you can see them like that. I tried the Roomba, and the Roomba didn't, the new Roomba, I'll probably be getting the new Roomba and doing a video on that. But the old Roomba has those cliff sensors, right? To know, because if it goes off of a stairs or a table or whatever, it knows to stop. Well, the cliff sensors were tricked by the black carpet, and it wouldn't work on the black carpet because it thought it was floating in space. It couldn't see, right? So you couldn't use the Roomba on the black carpet. I went and got the Dyson 360 iRobot, which uses visual cues. Well, I have black carpet, black furniture, in a darkened room. The Dyson 360 needs to be able to see in order to drive itself around. It'll work great in a room like this, but it wouldn't work worth the shit in my black office. So I turned the thing loose. It's constantly getting lost. It goes under the couch. It just gets lost because it can't see shit. Black carpet with black furniture. So it doesn't work either. So right now, I still have to manually vacuum that room. The problem is this thing here would bog down on the carpet. Remember I described that problem I was having earlier. This thing here works great on low. I vacuumed the whole thing. It didn't even use even a part of the battery. And I wanted to see how much, I got tired of vacuuming. I vacuumed the whole house with this thing on low, and it never ran out of battery on low. But it was working. I didn't need to put it, there was a couple of times, like on these floor mats that I have over here, they have deep tread, they're probably ½ an inch deep. They're thick, you know, they're made out of like used tires or something. They're those rubber mats. And it was having a little trouble with that, and I put it on high to get the leaves and dirt out of there. But working on regular carpet and flooring, you really can use this thing on low. You don't need to put it on high. And that's important because, quite frankly, I just don't even see a point of having a corded vacuum anymore. I have several Dyson vacuums. I have that purple animal, you know, ball vacuum, and then I have the earlier yellow ball vacuum, one of the earliest ones. I've had that one for almost 10 years. Both still working fine. And I never use it because why do I want to drag the thing out and plug it in when I have this? It's completely cordless. The V10 really is the real future of vacuums. This is a whole other level of cordless vacuums. Now, I did consider that Shark Ion vacuum. I thought it was pretty cool. But in comparison to the Dyson, it's just way bigger, way heavier. I did like some of the power head options and things like that. I think it's a really good vacuum. And I think it's a great alternative to the Dyson. But I'm just a Dyson guy. I'm a brand loyal guy. I've been really happy with everything I got from Dyson. Like I said, I've got like 3 or 4 of these stick vacuums. I got several of the ball vacuums. I have the Dyson lamp. I have the Dyson hairdryer that I use on my beard. I have a lot of Dyson stuff. And, you know, I did have to replace the battery in one of these. But other than that, I've never had to really work on any of them. They've always been pretty, you know, I mean, this one, quite frankly, I really overuse this vacuum. So I can't complain that I had to replace the filter or whatever. You figure over the course of like, what was it, 5 or 6 years I've had this thing. I'm not sure what year this one came out that I bought it. SV09, I wonder if that's the build date. So was it 2009? Or no, wait, is this a build date? Let me see. I don't know. I'd have to look up and see exactly how long. But we've had this one a long time. And I've wore it out. I mean, I use it every day. Every day. At least for a few minutes. And I still haven't replaced the battery in it. And it still lasts on high. You know, you're supposed to only get 7 minutes of high. So this one, I haven't even wore it out using the high. The emptying system is the best. Just keep in mind that if you're going to jump to the 10, if you want to get the power head, which is the red one, which is the one I wanted, because I wanted red. The red one has a smaller bin, smaller battery pack, less accessories. And that might be fine for you. If you're in a real small place and you don't want any other accessories and you want to save like $100, just get that one. And you can pick it up at Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever, but in my opinion, your Dyson stuff is not discounted. So by the way, I'm somebody who shops at Bed Bath & Beyond. I get those 20% off coupons. They will not honor a coupon for a Dyson product. You can't buy Dyson stuff discounted unless you're buying it refurbished or used, secondhand. But no Dyson retailer will sell you the thing for a lesser price. Same thing with like Apple and other products. They're price fixed. So you can't go to Target, you can't go to Bed Bath & Beyond and get a Dyson for less than it would cost you normally. And if that's the case, you should just order it from Dyson.com, register with them, and then your product is registered and warranted directly through Dyson, and you won't have to deal with any other bullshit if anything goes wrong. I've never had to replace one of these. I take that back. I take that back. I did replace this one, and it was my fault. I got it wet. I, like a dummy, tried to wash this thing. And because it was so filthy, the way it was set up, I tried to clean all this. I got it wet and quit working. And I fried it. It's my fault. And I replaced it. That's the only time. This one here, you know, I don't know if you can take the whole thing off. I guess you can. I don't think that comes off. yeah, wait, it says, oh, yeah. Ta-da! I didn't even know you could do that. It's got, well, it's got gosh darn directions on it. Okay, so if you want to take this thing off and clean it, you can do that and let it dry. And then this thing is completely exposed. Now, you shouldn't get this wet. Don't get this wet. I don't think that it says anything in the manual about getting that wet, because there's your exit point there. So you don't want to get this wet. And this comes off. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the first time I've ever taken that off. So here's, well, that's much bigger, much better design. And you clean this. So they fixed a lot of the problems that people found over the years. Wait, what am I doing? Goes like this? Yeah. Goes like that. There we go. And bang. Okay. Much better design. Just took me 2 seconds to figure it out. This thing, apples to apples, whatever you want to say. I mean, look at the size of these. I mean, huge difference. Now, I will say this one is a little heftier. It's a little heavier. It's a little bigger, a little bulkier. But I haven't really noticed a problem with it. So I'm not going to sit here and do like vacuuming tests and put powder on the floor and vacuum it up. The fucking thing works. It vacuums. The important thing about this video was that if you were thinking about upgrading from a 6, 7, 8, whatever, up to the 10, your accessories aren't going to fit. Everything is a different size, but it's not going to matter if you buy the Absolute or the Animal. It's going to come with all the accessories you need. And quite frankly, the only accessories I ever use is just this power head, maybe the hose or that other little brush attachment when I'm using it in the car. Dyson, please add a lock function to this, just like you have on a drill or a weed eater, where you can pull it back and push a button and lock it in place. That way I could set this thing down, use the hose, and clean my car or clean whatever I want to clean with it. Sometimes you want both hands, and it would make it into like a little canister, and that would be great. That would be a great upgrade. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist yet. Other than that, that's my review and recommendations on the Dyson V10. I'm in love with this thing. I'm a domesticated male. I like to clean my own house. And I have vacuums in every room. I have a Roomba up in that room. I've got another Roomba over there. I've got Dyson 360. I've got this thing. And I'll probably be getting that new Roomba, the one that's self-cleaning, the i7. And I'll be telling you all about that. So, hope you found this video informative. I know it wasn't real fancy, not a lot of graphics, not a lot of tests, but I gave you the real information that you're not going to get from the sales information. And most of the people who do these reviews, they really are just reading the information off the box, and then they're using stock footage that they pulled off of Dyson's website or whatever. I find those reviews to suck. This is word of mouth, personal experience from somebody who uses these every single day. I hope you found it informative, and I'll put a link for the vacuum if you want to order it directly through Amazon on your Amazon account if you like. And pick up the Dyson V10. This thing is great.